Christmas in Chicago, a time to celebrate holiday cheer. But when the Pistons and Bulls get together, it's time to stand clear. Last year, the world champion Pistons found the way to beat the Bulls in the playoffs was to beat up on Michael Jordan. It often took 3 men to do it, and the NBA's best defensive player on the best defensive team. It paid off with Detroit winning in 7 grueling games. This year, three-peat is the New Year's resolution for Isiah Thomas, Dennis Rodman, Joe Dumars, and the Pistons. But will this finally be the year that Michael Jordan and his Bulls rise to the top in the NBA? So, you better not shout, you better not cry, better not pout. I'll tell you why. The Pistons and the Bulls are going to town.
You ready to rotate up? You ready to rotate up?
Michael at the foul line. A shot on the goal. The Bulls win!
This is the NBA on NBC. Today, a special Christmas edition. The Detroit Pistons versus the Chicago Bulls.
It is always a stirring and festive scene at Chicago Stadium. Better than 17,000 have turned out for the Chicago Bulls as they get ready to face the defending champion Detroit Pistons. Merry Christmas and happy holiday from all of us here at NBC Sports. Hi, everybody. Marv Albert, along with Mike Fratello. And for the Detroit Pistons, these have been rocky times as of late. At one stretch, they lost 7 out of 8. They have lost 8 of the last 9 on the road. What is the problem?
The world champions are a guard-dominated team. When their 3 guards are playing well, the Pistons play well. They need 2 out of the 3 to make shots. Right now, only 1 seems to be doing each night out, and in particular, they're missing the big shots. All 3 guards are shooting well below their career average.
As always, when you focus on the Chicago Bulls, you start with Michael Jordan, but you talk to Detroit Piston players, and they say they are particularly concerned with Scottie Pippen. They figure that he is the key to beat them.
Obviously, you have to pay attention to Michael Jordan. He has just taken over the league lead in scoring once again, over 29 points per game. But Scottie Pippen leads their team in assists and rebounds. He can do it for himself. He creates for other people. He has 2 triple-doubles already this season. The problem is a guy named Dennis Rodman, the league's best defensive player. He seemed to have his number last game in the Palace. Pippen only 2 for 16 from the floor.
And Mike, in recent years, Detroit has had great success against Chicago. They have been beaten up physically by the Detroit Pistons, have the Chicago Bulls. Are they intimidated by the Pistons?
Whenever you lose 15 out of 18 games in the regular season and 5 in a row, there is intimidation.
All right, so it's the Chicago Bulls and the Detroit Pistons from Chicago Stadium. Back with the lineups when we return. This is the 154th straight sellout here at Chicago Stadium. Always a great scene, as you will see during the course of the introduction of the starting lineups. Let's go to the man on the public address, Ray Clay.
Merry Christmas, Leonin. The Chicago Bulls welcome the world's greatest fans to the Chicago Stadium. I'm Ray Clay, and today's Central Division matchup is between the Detroit Pistons and your Chicago Bulls. Now for today's lineup. First, for the visiting Detroit Pistons. At forward, from Southeast Oklahoma State, 6'8", number 10, Dennis Rodman. At forward, from Washington, 7'1", number 53, James Edwards. At center from Notre Dame, 6'11", number 40, Bill Layup. And guard from Indiana, 6'1", number 11, Isiah. And guard from McNeese State, 6'3", number 4, Joe Dumars. The Detroit Pistons are coached by Chuck Daly.
Coach of the Chicago Bulls, Phil Jackson, in his second year as head man of the Bulls, an assistant under Doug Collins for a couple of years, 13-year career in the NBA. Mike, I know those were anxious moments for you when they shut the lights momentarily. Steve Jones is with us for sideline reports throughout the day. He has the latest on that special Detroit Piston charter flight of the early morning hours. Let's go to Steve.
All right, Marv, I know you stayed up all night like I did watching headline news, but the only story to come out was snow in Detroit. Bill Laimbeer was injured. He dropped a quarter wood on his foot. He will play today. He is an Iron Man. He's expected to play. Bigger news, of course, is here is the change in the lineup. Stacey King starting for Horace Grant, The reason for it, better rotation against John Salley. They think you have a better matchup. Part of those personnel changes you guys have been talking about with the pressure on the Bulls. Back to you, Mark.
All right, Steve, that's a large chunk of wood, I'd have to say, but Bill is on hand. Look at the history of this series, and as you can see, the Bulls have had their problems. Detroit has won 5 straight in the regular season. This is a rivalry that goes back to the playoffs the last 3 years, although Chicago did take all 3 home games in the Eastern Conference Final from Detroit last season.
They felt that was very significant, the fact that in the big games in the playoffs, when they got to their home court, they came up with the wins. Now, if they can hold the edge in the regular season and get home court advantage, then obviously it makes a big difference later on.
The officials, Jake O'Donnell, Ed Middleton, Jim Capers, Bill Cartwright, James Edwards on the opening tip. And Detroit controls. Isiah Thomas, a native of Chicago, in the backcourt with Joe Dumars, Dennis Rodman, James Edwards, Bill Laimbeer up front. Capers calls it against the Pistons. An illegal pick was set by Edwards.
I wonder if they're trying to make a statement here about the physicalness of this game right from the beginning.
Well, Phil Jackson has been complaining that there have been different rules for Detroit. Paxson gets it down low to Cartwright. Cartwright, yes. The Bulls 2, and the Pistons nothing.
Trying to establish an inside post-up game immediately against Detroit. One of the key things against their defense is, can you get them to come and double team on the box? Most teams aren't able to do that. As you see in the beginning, they played them straight up.
Thomas played by Paxson. Edwards getting position on Cartwright. Illegal defense call.
Violation warning. Reset.
So that is the first violation. The second such call would lead to a technical foul.
Cartwright on the post-up, tries to draw a double team. Isiah gets back there a little too late to really help out. Cartwright scores down low.
Pistons get the new 24. Paxson over to help out. Thomas got the step. Edwards has the good outside touch. And Jake O'Donnell says Chicago ball. Phil Jackson has been complaining. Now, Mike, I don't know if he's just trying to get a little edge with the officials, playing some mind games, but he feels the rules have changed the last couple of years in favor of a club like Detroit. He said they will get away with hand checking. They will run through screens. They'll be allowed to get away with just firing by picks.
A coach will take advantage of everything he can. If he can implant that in the officials' minds, it's to his advantage. I think he realizes also that the Pistons are a little more physical than his team.
Isiah Thomas off the steal. Pippen back. Nice feed. Rodman stopped by Jordan, who came back. Thomas and Pippen to the boards. Paxson, he's been on fire recently.
We talked early in the game about Scottie Pippen being the guy that the Pistons had to focus in on, stopping him. But I think that the other key to his team is the outside shooting of Paxson. When he's knocking down shots, they're a completely different team. You can't pay that much attention to Jordan.
Offensive foul. Once
Detroit
again.
Pistons, number 40, Bill Layup.
On Layup.
I'd say already in this game with these two calls, 2 offensive fouls against the Pistons, Phil Jackson's statement has meant something.
John Paxson for Michael Jordan, his first shot. Yes. And the Bulls on a 6-0 roll. Michael Jordan comes in leading the NBA in scoring. Layup, who has the good outside shot, and he'll look from 3-point range. Stacey King, a surprise starter, getting the nod over Horace Grant, trying to check out the reason why King, who's making his first start of the season, is in there this afternoon.
Well, could be some size, bulk, strength against the Pistons.
Joe Dumars. And it's a 6-4 Chicago lead. Here's Pippen. He got the step.
They got Pippen the ball that time before Dennis Rodman really had a chance to deny him as he tried to pop out to the wing. Quick move for Pippen. Good to get him off early in the game.
Scottie Pippen trying to turn it from that 2 for 16 against Detroit in the loss last week at the Palace. Edwards stripped by Jordan.
Michael Jordan does that better than anyone, taking the ball from behind the shooter's head.
Jordan. John Salley was telling us last night he feels the key matchup is Dennis Rodman, the NBA's best defensive player, and Scottie Pippen. Thomas had the lane closed. Open shot for Dumars. And the Bulls now lead it by the score of 8-6. Salley made the sweeping statement. He said if Rodman has only 1 personal foul by the end of the first quarter, Detroit will win. That means he's had very little trouble with Pippen.
It also means that he understands he has 5 more to use, that he can be very physical, very aggressive for the remaining 3 quarters with no worries of fouling out.
4 minutes gone by in this first quarter. The Bulls with a 8-6 lead. Good defensive play by Paxson. Crowd wanted to travel on Isiah.
One of the keys to the Pistons' offense is the dribble penetration from their guards. We'll keep an eye on that for the remainder of the game. They seem to do a great job of breaking down defenses by getting into the lane area.
Beer switched off, made a good play. And Jake O'Donnell calls a backcourt violation. The argument by Paxson is that it was deflected by a Piston.
And Jake feels that one of the Bulls got their hand back on it again before it actually crossed over the midcourt line. Bread and butter now for the Pistons. Pick and roll basketball. Isiah and Edwards.
Lane Beer. Once again, the open shot.
You know, it's scary. The Pistons are so open when they swing the ball. You get kind of nervous shooting those shots. Nobody's near you.
Paxson drills it home over the last 3 games. Technical foul has been called. Oh, Chuck Daly is red hot. And Jim Capers called the tee.
I think Chuck Daly might be concerned about the people along the sideline on the court, perhaps endangering the players, as happened to Mark Price in Atlanta.
Yes, there seems to be a great number of photographers and cameramen, more than usual, along the sideline, draping the court. Michael Jordan will go to the foul line. Chuck Daly's Detroit Pistons at 16-10. That's third in the Central Division, 2 games behind first place Milwaukee, 1 behind the second place Bulls. They opened the season at 13-2, and since then, they've won only 3 out of 11.
And there is the Grand Master, Chuck Daly, who happens to have the longest tenure with one team in the NBA. This is his 8th season. A lot of stability in that job.
Well, Jim Capers and Chuck Daly going face-to-face. That's the assistant coach, Brendan Suhr, and Dennis Rodman trying to make peace.
He said, Merry Christmas.
Yes. Dumars. And Jordan with the wheeling move. Nice fade for King. Yes, but the basket won't count. It's a traveling violation.
Good call by Eddie Middleton. There was a little shuffle in there with his feet just before he went up. He didn't quite have control of the basketball. He tried to regroup, gather himself. Michael Jordan draws 2 and 3 people, but plays unselfishly. Little shuffle step before he goes up.
5 minutes in, first quarter. It's the Bulls by 1. Mike, you know, we hear so much about what is called the Jordan rules, the defensive technique attempted by several clubs, in particular the Pistons when they go against the Bulls, but apparently there's a mystique concerning the alleged Jordan rules.
Too complicated for the media. Do your best, would you? No.
Whenever he catches the ball, pray very hard. The Jordan rules. Is that something you guys made up? No idea what you're talking about.
None of your business.
My interpretation of the Jordan rules are this. There are 3 areas on the floor the Pistons need to be concerned about. He's sensational when he dribbles to his right. He's only great when he goes left. They will force him left as much as possible from the top of the circle area. When Michael Jordan has the ball on the foul line extended or wing area, he is so good, too good at going baseline, coming back up under the basket, getting fouls on the big people, or coming back around on the other side of the rim. So instead, the Pistons will force him to come to the middle of the floor off the dribble, trying to next defender. The third area is the post-up area when he's down low. Because they like to, the Bulls, pass and cut, they will trap back from the top, double-teaming with whoever is up on top. The post-up area is key to double-team Michael Jordan. Now, they also need to be concerned about pick and rolls. They'll trap everyone, and while Michael's doing his thing, just kind of creating, they'll run the next guy at him to double-team him no matter who it is. But keep this in mind, Mark, they don't always use the Jordan rules.
Well, in short, it's designed to double and triple up on Jordan, challenging the other Bulls to beat them, and that shows lack of respect. Pippen with the steal. That's lack of respect for Jordan's teammates.
Last game, their bench was 0 for 15 in the second quarter against the Pistons. I think that's the message.
Bulls by 1, 11-10, 6.5 remaining. In this first quarter, Marv Albert, Mike Fratello, Pat Riley. Oh, gorgeous move by Michael Jordan. And the Bulls with a 3-point lead.
That time he went to the middle of the floor, but the next defensive player did not come and help off the dribble. That's supposed to be a double team.
Jordan with 5 points. Isiah fires. And both clubs shooting well. Isiah Thomas has had some shooting difficulties recently. Bulls lead 13-12. Pippen got position. Rodman stopped him.
What Pippen understands is that Rodman is bigger, stronger, and as quick. And what happens is he really affects his shot because Rodman elevates and gets those long arms up. A little pump fake, Rodman stays down. Then even when he goes up late, he's still big enough to distract him on the shot.
Dumars played by Jordan. Edwards in the bump and run move. And it will be Detroit ball.
Chuck Daly may have gotten a technical foul, but he just got the ball back as a result.
Five and a half remaining in this first quarter. It was last Wednesday in Auburn Hills. Detroit walloped Chicago 105-84. The Bulls' worst loss of the season. Going in, the Pistons had dropped 7 of 8. Illegal defense call. That's their second violation. And that will lead to the technical foul.
One of the big differences that you'll notice between the two offenses is Detroit will pull people high, isolate, trying to force Chicago's defenders above the foul line area. Chicago uses a more balanced offense. They'll try to keep everyone spread out, depend on ball movement, and ball movement dictates their offense.
Joe Dumars, one of the league's better foul shooters at 87%, and he's tied the game at 13. Joe Dumars in his 5th year out of McNeese State. Game in and game out. Does it at both ends. Guy goes belly to belly to neutralize opposing scorers and, as we know, can also score.
He was almost scary spending time with him last night. He's so bright, understands the game so well, so articulate. I think he was interviewing us last night.
We had a lot of questions for you, buddy. Pick and roll, and Edwards goes to the reverse. Nicely done. Pistons 15 and the Bulls 13.
Whenever they need a big basket, you'll see them go to the pick and roll or two-man game involving one of their guards and one of their big people.
Pippen met on the switch. And Rodman off the board. Laimbeer eluding Jordan.
Is that maybe the first time we've seen Bill Laimbeer filling a lane, taking an early pass and completing it on the reverse side?
Pistons 17, Bulls 13. Jordan, yes. Michael Jordan with 7 points. He has been getting off to very fast starts. Here's Isiah going glass. Both clubs continue to shoot well. Pistons lead it by the score of 19-15. Bill Jackson has made it clear, new philosophy, the first quarter belongs to Michael Jordan. In past years, he would start in gradual fashion, then come on, and the pushing foul called on King. Well, these days, Michael Jordan, who in the past did not shoot prior to the pregame warm-up, as part of his new philosophy, arrives early, shoots before games. You see the University of North Carolina shorts, a throwback to his days as a Tar Heel. And Michael, in the past, did not come out early. Nice move by Thomas. Pistons lead at 21-15. But you wonder, is it psychological? I know there are a lot of players who don't come out early. Paxson cuts it to a 4-point lead. Pistons 21. And the Bulls 17, but Jordan has gotten off to the quick start since he's gone out for those early warm-ups.
Supposedly, the word is there's been a little bit of concession on both sides. Michael can have the first quarter to himself, then he'll stay within and run the offense for the next 2 quarters. This multi-faceted offense they've installed here, and then in the fourth quarter, he sees what happens.
Dennis Rodman picks up his first. Now B.J. Armstrong has come on for John Paxson. Armstrong, the second-year player from Iowa. Pistons on a run the last 3:22, and they lead by 4. Here is Jordan. And again, Rodman off the board.
We see Jordan's last 2 shots have been quick, hurried shots before the Pistons can come and double.
Detroit able to maintain possession. Just under 3 minutes left in the quarter. Laimbeer off the mark, upright on the rebound. And this is B.J. Armstrong. He now has Horace up front, along with Bill Cartwright and Scottie Pippen. They want to get Pippen off. Boy, he changed that move. What a move! It counts, and the foul on Rodman. He went to 5 variations before unleashing.
He was determined to get it off somehow, and most importantly, picks up the second foul on Dennis Rodman. As you mentioned earlier, they were trying to get through their first quarter with only 1 foul on him. He gets him down low. Rodman stays behind. He shows middle. He shows baseline. He shows middle. Comes back baseline, gets him up, and draws the contact.
Entire section. Our contestants will dribble to the end of the court again.
No question, they're going at Rodman, who they know is the key to their defense.
Timeout call. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Michael Jordan of the Chicago Bulls. Along with my family and the organization of Chicago Bulls, we'd like to wish everyone a happy holiday.
And there are Michael's parents, Dolores and James, on hand for the action today. Incidentally, Michael and his wife, Juanita, welcomed their second child, Marcus James, born early yesterday morning. Congratulations.
That makes 5 grandchildren now for the senior Jordan.
What a move a moment ago by Scottie Pippen against that man, Dennis Rodman, who has been considered the best defensive player in the NBA. And check this out. The 26 opponents that he has faced have really suffered. He's held 20 of them below their season average. That's a remarkable statistic.
Basically, when you go up against Dennis Rodman, you know you're in for a long night because he doesn't concede anything. He takes great pride in his defense. He understands how important it is to the Pistons' success.
However, Pippen, who has struggled at the foul line, not able to hit. Rodman sitting down. Mark Aguirre has come on for the first time. Mark had a rough day yesterday. He had to garner 30 tickets for family and friends. He is a native of Chicago. Edwards. And Dumars getting inside. Boxing out Grant. Three-point attempt. Last touch by Grant. It will be Detroit ball.
I'm sure Aguirre did not want to take his first shot from behind the three-point line. In fact, he passed up a little short baseline one when he touched the ball last time and gave it up to Edwards. But he realized he was so open that time, he had to make him pay the price.
Edwards sits down, and he is replaced by John Salley. Here's Vinnie Johnson on for the first time. Vinnie Johnson also well below his usual shooting standards. Coming up on 2 minutes to go. In this opening quarter, Pistons 21 and the Bulls 19. Now Aguirre with that patented back-in move, and he easily beats Pippen, although he missed the shot.
The one thing he mentioned to us is that he has very seldom seen small forwards play him defensively when they're on the offensive end. He mostly matches up against the big forward because of his strength. He has incredible strength posting up down low.
Pippen. The game is tied at 21.
One of the adjustments that Phil Jackson has made is they're playing a little two-man basketball or pick and roll with Scottie Pippen in an effort to get Rodman off him at the defensive end.
Aguirre played by Grant. Armstrong guarding Dumars. And Armstrong played him very well. Dumars had a tough time getting that shot off. Pistons lead it by 2. Down to 1 minute left in this first quarter.
Here comes that screen out of the corner series once again. Pippen coming from the corner, tried to force the switch.
So Aguirre fighting off the pick. That's what we discussed earlier. Phil Jackson very unhappy with the fact that the Pistons are able to bull their way through. Aguirre was called for the foul. Here it is.
What Lambier does is he tries to hold up Cartwright from setting a real low screen, forcing Pippen to go higher, moving him further away from the basket, obviously making his shot that much longer.
Jordan. And he was pushed. Dumars called for his first.
We see another one of the little adjustments that Phil Jackson has made. He spoke yesterday and mentioned that they may have to do something within their offense to change against the Pistons because Detroit just knows it too well. They set a little stagger that time along the baseline for Michael Jordan, meaning 2 screens for him at different times to shake him free. That is not normally in their half-court offense.
The Bulls and Pistons tied at 23. 47 seconds remaining first quarter. Some pressure now being shown by Chicago. Detroit with no problem. Dumars and Johnson down the backcourt. Salley, Lambier, Aguirre up front. Aguirre had it deflected. 8 on the shot clock. Dumars. And that is just within 2-point range. 9 points for Dumars. Pippen gets down. 20 seconds to go in the quarter. And the Pistons holding for a final shot.
It'll be interesting to see if Phil Jackson reduces the number of players here in this game to keep his better players on the floor more minutes.
Salley. And he drew the foul with 2 4/10 seconds remaining in this first quarter. Horace Grant called for the foul. Here's Horace Grant, who says he is satisfied with his new prescription goggles. Looks like 3D glasses. Says they feel much better. The sweat doesn't get down on them and fog them up, and they don't get knocked off as much. Salley giving Detroit a 3-point lead. Salley in his 5th year at Georgia Tech. Final seconds, and Pippen could not get the grip. It's waved off, would not count. So that's the end of one here at Chicago Stadium. Christmas Day, 1990. And we're delighted to be with you here on NBC. The Pistons with a 26-23 lead on the Bulls. Welcome back to Chicago. Marv Albert with Mike Fratello. And obviously, Mike, since leaving the coaching ranks, you don't care at all about your personal dignity. You'll do anything for an on-camera experience.
If Daly and Riley see, they're going to kill me with this piece right here. I'm in big trouble. I know that.
The Horace Grant look. Very sturdy goggles, and you did get through the first quarter in that fashion.
Am I color coordinated? That's what I want to know.
I think we should get back onto the court as we get underway in the second quarter. And there is Horace Grant, who did not start the game today. Perhaps a message from Phil Jackson. We checked with him as to why Stacey King received the starting nod, and he said it was just because of the matchups. But did not waste much time in getting Grant back on the floor. And now Dennis Hobson has checked in for the first time. Isiah going for the steal. Bulls able to get back. Thomas played by Armstrong. The alley-oop for Salley.
What a great pass, great catch. Isiah Thomas, one of the premier guards at throwing the lob pass to the front of the rim.
Pistons open up a 28-23 lead. Grant Pippen caught right up front. Michael Jordan sitting down. Hobson and Armstrong down the backcourt.
Interesting that as soon as Pippen saw that switch just now, Salley jumped out at him. He picked up his dribble and went back inside. A little reverse. That was planned from the timeout to reverse him, throw the lob to the front of the rim. They had isolated the weak side. That was all designed in the timeout by Daly and the team.
Foul was called. First, a leg block indicated, but Hobson on the foul. Here's Cartwright. Bill Cartwright with a second bucket. He has 4. Pistons 28, Bulls 25.
Cartwright caught Lambier trying to come over that high side, top side. They just laid it on the baseline and passed. Too late.
Nice spin by Aguirre. Pippen. And Isiah hanging right in was able to break it up. Here's James Edwards reporting back, replacing Bill Lambier.
The feed pass here comes to the baseline side because Lambier, as you see, came over the top. Too much room for him to recover.
Minute and a half gone by in the second quarter. Down to 5 on the shot clock. Down to 3. Cartwright. It will count, although Edwards felt that he was pushed by Cartwright.
It's just riding the body out. That's what the foul was called for. And there's a real strong effort here to get Cartwright involved in this offense early in the first half. Edwards trying to body up to him, never got a chance to challenge the shot. Big Bill takes it up too quick before he can get his arms extended.
Bill Cartwright averaging just under 10 points per game. Here's Tree Rollins for James Edwards. Chuck Daly can go deep at the center position. Cartwright, usually a good free throw shooter, not shooting well at the line this season. 69%. So the Pistons by 1.
With 2 shot blockers out there, 2 defensive intimidators in Salley and Rollins for the Pistons.
And he Johnson. The microwave connecting on his first field goal. Pistons have a 3-point lead.
Is that a welcome sign? Vinnie Johnson only shooting 41% from the floor right now, 53 from the foul line. They get him off early. They're in good shape.
He was a holdout, finally signed just before the start of the season. That may have hurt. Strong move by Grant. Pistons 30 and the Bulls 29. Johnson comes off the pick, and the foul is called on the Pistons as Hobson was sent flying. Offensive foul. It's on Tree Rollins. We'll be right back.
One of the main reasons the Pistons went after Tree Rollins is that he's great at setting screens to get those shooters or scorers free on the baseline. Watch him just move that left hip into him, knocks the defender down, but Vinny is wide open for the shot.
Trey Rollins spent 11 years with Atlanta, 2 with Cleveland, signed with Detroit as an unrestricted free agent back in September. So you had him with the Atlanta Hawks.
He's our captain. They called him Cap. He did a great job for us in Atlanta.
Offensive foul. It's on Cartwright. Pistons 30. The Bulls 29. Happy holiday from all of us here at NBC Sports. Marv Albert, Mike Fratello from Chicago Stadium. Pistons and Bulls meeting for the second time this season. Last week in Detroit, Pistons won big to battle their way out of a slump. And Ed Middleton with the call. He said white ball, so the Bulls get it back.
Chuck Daly trying to restore the confidence in his scorer, Vinnie Johnson. Cleared the entire side of the floor, gave it to Vinny and said, go one-on-one against Hobson, make something happen.
Now the Bulls with a record of 17-9. They've won their last 2. They have won 12 of their last 15. One game behind surprising first place Milwaukee. Cartwright with the jump hook. Thomas and Johnson at the guards. Rollins up front with Salley and Aguirre. The matchup is Pippen and Aguirre. Aguirre, heard the crowd react. Looked to be a push-off, but no call.
He uses that wide body and that free arm to get that defender away from him. All he needs is a split second because he has such a quick release.
Pistons by 3. Michael Jordan getting set to return. He has sat out first 3.5 minutes, second quarter. And a strong move again by Horace Grant.
We're seeing Chicago really deviate from their normal half-court offense. They're starting to isolate people, go into low post-ups, getting the Piston defenders out of the help position.
Help from Grant, but Aguirre does it again. Pistons 34 and the Bulls 31. Pippen changed his mind, did not want to use the screen. Cartwright gets it out for Armstrong. Cartwright establishes position on Rollins. And Vinnie Johnson able to recapture.
They will go right back to Aguirre again. That's the way they play basketball. When somebody's hot, they keep going to him, force the double team. Aguirre started to see it coming that time, was ready to deliver the pass.
Kick ball, so they get the new 24. Here comes Jordan. And Cliff Levingston will make his first appearance. There's Cliff, another one-time Atlanta Hawk.
We're finding our Hawks all over the place, aren't we?
2 years with Detroit, 6 with Atlanta, then signed with the Bulls as a free agent. Michael Jordan had 9 points in the first quarter. Rushes by Isiah, met by Salley on a switch. So he was forced to give it up. Hobson. He's been a major disappointment. Dennis Hobson acquired from the Nets. Only 3 for 14 his last 4 games. He was labeled a can't miss when he showed up with the Nets, a #1 draft pick out of Ohio State, but has not shot well in the NBA. That's from downtown. Isiah Thomas with a 3-pointer. Pistons 36 and the Bulls 31. Isiah has 11. Levingston just Just got a scrape of the glass. Levingston with the good hustle.
Cliff Levingston is not a skill player, meaning he doesn't pass, dribble, or shoot it real well, but he does so many other things. He hustles, he gets on the offensive board. He's great for the total team package.
And a good play by Salley. Bulls beginning to hear it from the crowd.
Again, the isolation. 4 players on the opposite side of the floor from Aguirre. And there's Jordan behind the head again with the block.
However, Isiah is on fire. And he's given the Pistons a 38-31 lead. Phil Jackson wants to talk it over. 5:50 remaining first half. Strong run by the Pistons. They lead the Bulls 38-31.
According to the Jordan rules, anytime he comes off a screen in a pick-and-roll situation, Detroit wants to double-team him, stop the dribble, make him give the ball up. As Horace Grant sets the screen, we'll see Jordan come off, look for John Salley to jump out, stop him, and then Detroit will rotate to the open people on the floor. Here's the screen, there's the step out, here comes the double team. They get Jordan to elevate in the air, look for a pass-off. Good defensive job by the Pistons covering to the open people.
Phil Jackson taking that timeout with Detroit extending to its biggest lead of the game. 38-31 is the score with 5:50 remaining in this first half. And the Pistons have been killing the Bulls off the board. 17-7. The advantage in the rebounding department. John Paxson has also returned along with Stacey King. So King, Grant, and Levingston up front. Isiah puts the speed on.
Well, Isiah feels it right now. He's trying to take over this game by himself. 6 out of 7 from the floor, 12 points. When their guards are shooting well, they're a good team.
There's Aguirre starting his move. Again, he drew the double team. 8 on the shot clock. A rare shot by Tree Rollins.
Well, when you get Tree the ball in the lane area, he's a 60-plus field goal percentage shooter. He's got the great jump hook 3-4 feet from the basket.
Bulls have missed their last 4 shot attempts. They are down by 9. And the call away from the ball as Vinnie Johnson and Michael Jordan got involved. Foul on Vinnie.
When Tree steps in the lane and catches King on his back, he's got 4 or 5 inch advantage. Just get it up there, big fella. It'll go in.
Detroit in the midst of a 10-2 run. Levingston. And Stacey King able to
The thing that Levingston does well is makes all the small things happen, keeps the ball alive, gets on the offensive boards, runs the floor, and will defend people.
Pistons by 7. 4.5 remaining in this first half.
They go back to Aguirre again on the isolation. Levingston trying to play him now.
Mark Aguirre telling us last night that his job has changed because he's double-teamed so frequently. Michael Jordan with the 11. He's hit 4 out of 8. You'll notice Aguirre, although he starts the back-end move, will look to pass it out. And that's another reason the Pistons have been so effective. That won't count. Whistle before the shot attempt.
Well, Mark is a scorer, but he's a scorer who has very high assist numbers. He will give the basketball up. He understands the concepts of the game. When he's double-teamed, someone's going to be open and free on his team. He's willing to make the pass. He understands that that's what leads to victory.
All right, Tree Rollins sitting down. Vinnie Johnson also departing. Bill Cartwright back, replacing Horace Grant. Pistons 40 and the Bulls 35. Just under 4 minutes remaining in this first half. Dumars. Joe Dumars has hit 5 out of 7. He has 11. It's been an excellent shooting first half for the Pistons. Jordan went down. That prompted the reaction. Here's King. Levingston.
Hook Levingston. Offensive rebound is supreme. Ball's up on the glass. He's flying in there to keep it alive. That's what he can add to the Bulls.
Pistons by 5. Oh, Jordan chasing Dumars, who's able to spin around him, and he was pushed. Cartwright called for the foul. So Dumars to the line for Cartwright. That is his second. Here's Bill Aguirre for John Salley.
Joe Dumars finds a way to turn the corner, gets in the seam against one of the best, if not best, defensive guard in the NBA.
Last season, Dumars averaged just under 18 per game. That is best season despite breaking his left hand last March. He has been hot from the free throw line. He's now hit his last 24 straight. He has improved his free throw shooting. He's up to 87%. 7-point Detroit lead. 3 minutes left in the first half. Paxson from downtown. And Jordan gets inside, but is rejected. It will be Chicago ball.
John Paxson got off to a 3-for-3 start in the beginning of the game. Comes back off the bench now and looks a little bit cold. Remember, he leads the league in three-point field goal percentage coming into this game.
2:50 remaining in this first half. Pistons by 7 and a timeout taken.
On behalf of the Wilkins family, we'd like to wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Well, Dominique and Gerald Wilkins, Gerald doing his Milli Vanilli lip sync impersonation. A reminder that Miller NBA All-Star balloting is underway. Please be sure to get out and vote. Mike gathering those ballots to vote for his favorites prior to this afternoon's game. Pistons 44 and the Bulls 37. That wind chill factor, we should point out, at 0. Although nice and cozy indoors, although the ice, as always, is down underneath the court here at Chicago Stadium. Michael Jordan looking to shoot from the outside, and he's been off. Pistons with a 7-point lead. And back to the offense. Jordan has 11 points. He is 4 for 10 from the field. Aguirre able to spot up and the open shot. And Detroit now leads 46-37.
Again, the dribble penetration by Isiah Thomas draws the defense to him. Then he kicks out to his open shooters. They're the best at that in the league.
Jordan threw the double team, but he found Pippen wide open. Pistons lead by 7. We approach 2 minutes remaining in this first half. Detroit at 16-10. Bulls with a record of 17-9. Edwards and Cartwright on the rebound. Chicago Bulls in their last game Saturday night here at home beat Indiana 128-118. Chicago dipping off in the shooting department in the second quarter, and they have been destroyed off the boards.
Detroit's opponents usually shoot under 46% against them as Michael takes him off the dribble for the short jumper.
Jordan had a 29-point game against Indiana Saturday, and he and Chuck Person were gnawing at each other throughout the game. Jordan felt that Person, who likes to talk, was trying to intimidate him, take him out of the game. Pippen. Interesting dribble move. Very exciting, but blew the shot.
Couldn't decide whether he wanted to pull up, shoot, try to complete the play and finish it, or pass off to a teammate. Took off too far out.
Just under 1 minute left, first half. Dumars threw the double team, and the foul called on King. Beautiful feed to set up Edwards. Stacey King committing his second.
Joe Dumars on the post up, feels the double team coming, sees it, and says, there's my open teammate, without looking.
James Edwards to the foul line, 76% free throw shooter, averaging 14.5 per game. And the man with the 3D glasses, Horace Grant. replacing Stacey King. Pistons lead 48-41. Jordan off the stutter step. Yes.
That was a quick one-on-one for Michael, called by the coach to try and get 2 for 1, as they say. We'll take a shot. They'll have to shoot one before the end of the quarter, and then we'll get another shot back.
Michael Jordan, high man with 15. Joe Dumars leads Detroit with 13. Edwards. Nice move by James Edwards, extends the Detroit lead to 7.
Now I think what they'll do is Chicago will run this clock down, go for the last shot of the quarter, only leave about 2 to 3 seconds on the clock for Detroit to try and do something going the other way. Again, they will try to get into Michael's hands for the isolation.
And here is Jordan.
And that's what you do when they try to trap you on the double team. You split it off the dribble.
Final seconds, Aguirre, rebound Cartwright, and time runs out. That's the end of the first half. Pistons by 5, 50-45. They led by as many as 9.
He knows they're going to jump out and double team him, so he just splits the 2 people that are supposed to trap him and finishes it off with that 15-foot jumper.
And Michael Jordan finishes off 7 for 13 from the field. High point man with 17 points. What a
great
move
look
by
at the
Jordan.
split of the double team.
And coming up on the Prudential halftime report, no, we won't be giving Bob Costas another shot in the Showtime shootout, but we will check in and find out how he made what is already being called the shot, at least in the St. Louis area. Pat Riley will have the story of Dennis Rodman, who did his part to make Christmas a little merrier for some people in Detroit. The Pistons with a 50-45 lead on the Chicago Bulls. Marv Albert back at courtside with Mike Fratello. What is your breakdown of the first half?
Well, there's no question from the Pistons standpoint, it's the outstanding shooting of their guards. Right now in this first half, they're 12 for 19 from the floor. Isiah Thomas knocking out his shots 6 for 8. That's the key. When 2 of their 3 guards are making shots, that's the key for the Pistons team. Isiah off to a real good start. Dumars playing well, and then Vinny came off the bench, knocked out his first shot. That's a big, big plus for them.
I guess to this point, the late arrival by Isiah via the private charter has not had any effect. Take a look at the bench scoring. Detroit with the edge in that area, and that has been one of their strong points in the matchup against Chicago.
There's no question that they seem to dominate the Bulls when both teams have their benches on the floor, but in particular, tonight's game, it was 8-8 while the 2 second units were on, and we see that the clear-cut decision to Detroit on the glass is the big, big plus for them. Chuck Daly always feels defensive rebounding is what wins basketball games.
And Chicago did come on in that department. They were down 17-7 at one stretch. Let's go to Steve Jones, who's alongside Chicago Bulls coach Phil Jackson.
All right, Phil Jackson, the Chicago Bulls have always had trouble with the Piston guard. They seem to be giving you trouble tonight. What adjustments are you going to make?
Well, their penetration's been great. We're going to try and eliminate their penetration. Then when Aguirre got going, we had to double team down in the block a little bit. And leaving them leaves the best shooters open. They get the ball back to their guards. They're very good at finding them wherever they're at in the court. That is hurting us, so we'll have to stop their penetration one, and then the return we'll have to double play team from someplace else.
All right, are you surprised, or are you satisfied with the surprise changes you made in the lineup? King for Grant, is that working out the way you thought it would so far?
No, but that's not going to work out immediately overnight. It's just the time to make it. It's the right time to do it.
All right, thank you.
All right.
See if they give you a... Let's go over to Marv.
Thank you, Steve. Phil with the fine-looking bow tie look, a look we did not see in his days as a New York Knick.
Isiah Thomas does such a great job of dribble penetration into the lane area. He collapses the entire Bulls defense and then will kick out and find an open teammate in Mark Aguirre. Dribble penetration, middle of the lane, collapse the defense, find your open teammate for wide open shots. That's the reason why the Pistons are shooting 54% in the first half.
The home crowd hoping to rev the Bulls up as they open up here in the third quarter. Capacity crowd 17,339 at Chicago Stadium. We open up third quarter with Paxson and Jordan at the guards, Pippen with King and Cartwright up front. Both clubs shot well in the first half. Chicago 51% off a late run, and Detroit 54% from the field. 2 on the shot clock. Paxson, and rebounded by Edwards, who felt he was fouled by Cartwright and may have had a point.
Defensive rebounding, they really put their bodies on people.
Isiah Thomas tried to squeeze through, and he took the bump, hit by King.
As the shot goes up, look at Edwards just ride him out, actually grab onto Big Bill's arm right there and get him off him. Clears the defensive boards.
Foul by King, his third. Detroit with Dumars and Thomas at the guards. Layup with Rodman and Edwards up front. Dumars open. Edwards. And Rodman able to get to it as he got between the bigger men, Cartwright and King.
This is one of the reasons that King was starting this game, to give him more bulk, more size on the glass.
Isiah Thomas continues the superb shooting. He is 7 for 9 and has a total of 14 points. Detroit 52 and Chicago 45. Jordan. He has been doing most of the shooting from outside. Illegal defense call.
No one works any harder in the NBA than Dennis Rodman at getting offensive rebounds. He's constantly in motion. He'll take you underneath the backboard, come back out again. He's always working for position to get on the offensive boards.
Well, we saw the softer side of Dennis Rodman of that halftime feature. Dennis with another terrific move off the boards. That last call was a foul on Layup, and then Paxson able to hit on his 4th field goal. He has 8. Pistons 52 and the Bulls 47. Detroit 16 and 10 coming in. They've had their difficulties as of late. At one point they lost 7 out of 8, and Chicago at 17 and 9. They have won their last 2 and 12 of their last 15. Dumars strip, and it is, let's see, the 24-second buzzer went off, but they continued play because Chicago had taken possession. Jordan for the open Paxson. Yes. A three-pointer for John Paxson.
And the crowd knew it. He's the best three-point shooter in the league right now. They were waiting for that one. Little penetration, kick it out, knock down the 3.
22nd timeout taken by the Pistons.
And Jordan knows that if he's got 4 defenders around him, someone's open, and Paxson is just behind the three-point line where he's supposed to be to make the defense pay the price.
So Paxson hitting his 2nd from three-point range. He's 55% from downtown. Reminder, Saturday, a special afternoon of NFL action here on NBC. It starts with NFL Live. Bob Costas, Will McDonough taking you in and around the NFL, plus O.J. Simpson going one-on-one with Bears head coach Mike Ditka. And a good one, Kansas City and the Chicago Bears from Soldier Field in Chicago next Saturday on NBC. Edwards was pushed. So James Edwards fouled in the act. We'll go to the line. Cartwright did not like that call.
James Edwards gives him a legitimate low-post scorer from the center position. For years, Lambier was the center. He's really a perimeter guy. Edwards forces the action down low.
That is number 3 on Cartwright. Well, they said a non-shooting foul. They changed the call. 3 apiece on Cartwright and King. And again, it's Rodman to the boards. That is his 7th rebound. Paxson playing Isiah very well. And the outside official, Jim Capers, called a holding foul on Paxson.
It was just a matter of time before the Pistons went back to the Isiah-Paxson matchup instead of Dumars versus Jordan. Jordan's good defensively. Get him out of there. They think they got a better chance of scoring with this matchup, Isiah, and Paxson does a good job of keeping the ball in front of him until the big body comes up next to him.
Back live, the Bulls effectively were able to trap And Isiah Thomas got frustrated, and he threw an elbow. Here's another look at it.
It seems like the entire Bulls team has come out with more aggressiveness right here to start the second half. That probably was part of the halftime talk. We're giving the game to them because we're not aggressive.
Stacey King. The Bulls have come from behind, and they have tied it at 52. 3 minutes gone by in the third. Isiah Thomas, Dennis Rodman, and Bill Cartwright gets to it. Paxson off the dribble, sets up King. Jake O'Donnell changed the call. He said he had the better view, and he said Chicago will maintain possession.
In his frustration, Isiah tried for the steal down at the other end of the floor. As a result, he was behind the entire Bulls team. They took advantage in transition, had a wide open shot at the basket.
Bulls have trailed by as many as 9. In the midst of a 7-2 run here at the start of the third, Jordan goes at Dumars, and now the illegal defense call against the Pistons.
When Jordan gets the basketball, everyone on the Piston defense has an alert ready to come when he puts it on the floor. Someone got caught cheating that time by Jake O'Donnell.
That is the first such violation on Detroit. Chicago already hit with 2. King posting up. Good play by Lane Beer. He stripped him. The Detroit Pistons strangle you defensively. Isiah Thomas. And here comes Michael Jordan. Twisting and hitting.
What they're doing is they're stepping up their big people in transition to knock off the defensive player from Jordan that he's going up against bigger guys who aren't as quick.
Michael Jordan with 19 points. Usually when teams face the Chicago Bulls, they double up on Michael Jordan, allowing open shots for his teammates, which shows clear lack of respect, and I talked about this with Michael.
Embarrassing from my standpoint to see my teammates disrespected in that sense, and I want them to gain that respect as bad as anybody else in this organization. But we cannot do that. I cannot do that for them. I think that's something that they got to have within their heart, the determination to achieve.
I'm not quite sure it's a lack of respect for the teammates, but rather you have to make a decision. Do you want Jordan beating you or somebody else? I'd rather have somebody else too.
The Bulls by 2, 54-52. Rodman and Jordan on the rebound.
There's a similar instance right there. Get the ball in someone's hands that's not used to beating you.
Paxson eluding Thomas. Detroit Pistons 1 for 9 from the field in this third quarter. Thomas, he had to alter that shot. Paxson open. And Pippen keeping it alive. Just under 7 minutes to go. Third quarter. The Bulls have come back from a 9-point deficit, and they've taken a 2-point lead. Cartwright hit as Isiah Thomas tried to help out.
The Bulls are now back into running their half-court triangle offense, as they call it, with all the offense in motion dictated by where the ball is passed. That determines the movements of the bodies.
Oh, Pippen. A strong move by Scottie Pippen. He has 10. The Bulls 56 and the Pistons 52. Jake O'Donnell makes the call right in the face of the Detroit coaching staff. And that is the illegal defense, leading to another technical foul.
A little slice cut there by Scottie Pippen off his center, Bill Laimbeer, to get a return pass. The old give-and-go basketball. They like to use it in the Bulls offense.
Joe Dumars, 3 for 3 from the line, converting the technical. The Bulls by 3. Bill Jackson, in his second year as head coach of the Chicago Bulls. Dumars cuts it to a 1-point lead. Cartwright, air ball.
Excellent team defense. They forced him out of his range on that one. Got what they wanted defensively.
Isiah Thomas had it deflected away, and it will be Detroit ball, last touched by Chicago.
And that's the great hands of Michael Jordan, reaching in there to deflect it at the end. Isiah does his little spin move, beats the first defender off the dribble, but Michael with his hands knocks it away.
Dumars. Cartwright was looking for the quick outlet, then handles it himself. King posting on Laimbeer. Cartwright with the head fake, offensive foul. That's 4 on Cartwright.
James Edwards did an excellent job of positioning himself. He knew Cartwright was going to make his move to the middle of the floor that time. He set this up from the beginning of the game. Edwards moves his feet, gets there, no question about it.
The Pistons only 3 for 12 from the floor this quarter. They shot 54% in the first half. The double up on Edwards. 5 on the shot clock. 3-point attempt. Here's Paxson. Picked up by Rodman. Pippen. Well, Scottie Pippen has come through this afternoon. We talked at the start that he was the main question mark, and Detroit felt he was the most important player they would have to stop. He has 12 points, but you recall he's bouncing back from a 2 for 16 last week against the Pistons. Isiah Thomas.
The thing I don't like right now about Detroit's offense is Isiah Thomas is the focal point too much right now. Too many shots for Isiah in their offensive end of the floor. There is not enough distribution of scoring. They have a lot of people. One thing Chuck Daly told us, I don't have enough shots for my guys that can all score.
And Vinnie Johnson replacing Isiah Thomas, leaves with 16. Ian Dumars, the high point men for Detroit. Edwards with a little bump on Jordan, thought he was fouled. King. Jordan on the pull-up. And Edwards to the board.
This game has turned very, very physical under the basket by both teams now. First half, Detroit dominated the glass. Chicago's really going after the ball now, much harder than the first half.
Cartwright on a switch. Now guarding Dumars. Cartwright getting back. Dumars open. And Rodman able to race it down. 9 rebounds for Rodman. Edwards lost it. And a foul call.
Late whistle by Eddie Middleton. He wanted to make sure he had a good look at it. Better to call it late and be right than pass it up.
Called on Stacey King. That's 4 on King. 4th team foul against the Bulls. And Stacey King will be replaced by Horace Grant.
Replacing Stacey King.
In the Jordan rules, anytime he comes off a screen, get up there and trap him, double team him. But Jordan's so good at keeping the dribble alive, he spreads the defense out, has 2 people about 30 feet away from the basket, finds an open teammate.
James Edwards now 2 for 3 from the foul line. 76% free throw shooter. The Bulls maintain a 1-point lead. 3.5 to go in the third. Jordan again draws the double team. And Edwards jumping out. Picks up his third.
When Michael is doing his thing, just creating on his own, the next defensive player, whoever it is, big or small, has the responsibility of jumping out to stop his dribble penetration.
Jordan, yes. 21 for Jordan. He comes into today leading the NBA in scoring, averaging better than 29 per game, shooting 56% from the field. Bulls by 3. Dumars, and the foul called on the Bulls as they call for a timeout.
Whenever he has the ball on the wing, bring him to the middle of the floor to get help. Vinnie Johnson gets there a little too late. Michael Jordan just jumps over you and knocks it out.
Jordan was called on that foul. Just under 3 remaining in the third.
For Mark Aguirre and Detroit Pistons, we'd like to wish you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
And Mark Aguirre, very effective in the first half, has not seen action here in the third. Let's go to Steve Jones on the sideline.
Well, of course, the feet belong to the famous Bob Lanier. And Bob, this is a physical game the way you like to see it played, but you're here because of the stay-in-school program. How is it going?
It's going wonderful right now, Steve. You know that the spots are starting with this game. McHale, the mailman, are having PSA spots. And what they're doing is encouraging kids about how important education was in their lives. David Stern initiated the program last year with the stay-in-school jamboree in the Miami school system. And each host city this year, it's going to be Charlotte, will have the stay-in-school jam. They'll have celebrities, all-stars talking to the kids. Kids that have perfect attendance from September to January 8th will get a chance to come to the All-Star Jamboree.
All right, let's go back to Marv.
All right, Steve. The new reigning champion in terms of largest feet of the NBA is sitting on the bench of the Chicago Bulls. Steve Jones making reference to the large feet of Bob Lanier. There's Will Perdue, the 7-footer out of Vanderbilt, size 18 sneakers, we're told, worn by Will Perdue. Bob Lanier, of course, one-time star with the Detroit Pistons and the Milwaukee Bucks. 2:45 to go in the third. Bulls lead 60-59. Cartwright, yes, and it counts.
That whole play started with the pick and roll, which was only designed to force the switch by Detroit. As a result, Dennis Rodman winds up on a guy that's basically too big for him, Cartwright. He tries to hang in there, but he gives up too much size, strength, takes a beating at the same time, and then it's called for a foul in the end.
We mentioned earlier, Cartwright has been struggling at the foul line, usually a good free throw shooter, but he does complete a three-point play. 9 points for Cartwright. The Bulls 63, the Pistons 59.
Vinnie Johnson's favorite play is the high pick and roll using the big man.
And as you saw, the Pistons have not been doing it up front. Off the steal, the Bulls get it back. Mark Aguirre is back on the floor. Here's Pippen. And Detroit with a new front line. They have John Salley with Aguirre and Edwards, Johnson and Dumars in the backcourt.
Trying to take the crowd out of the game. They're walking the ball down the floor. We'll run our half-court offense. We'll get a shot with 2 or 3 seconds left on the 24-second clock. That's the way we want to play right now.
Edwards. And they have hit a drought. A poor shooting third quarter by Detroit.
Again, they force the switch. Now you've got Dumars trying to play Grant or in isolation, Jordan against Salley. And too bad because Phil Jackson was yelling, calling for the illegal defense. Jake O'Donnell gave it to him, but took away a basket as a result.
So the basket does not count on that call of illegal defense.
Shooting a technical foul, Michael Jordan.
Jordan will shoot the technical foul.
He's 3 for 3 from the line.
Remember, if they happen simultaneously, the illegal defense and the shot, then the basket counts. That whistle came before Michael attempted to shoot the ball.
By just an instant.
He beat Salley off the drill, but the whistle is blown already, calling an illegal defense. No basket.
Bill Laimbeer is back, replacing James Edwards. Edwards leads with 6. A minute and a half remaining in the third. Jordan, yes. Michael Jordan now on target from outside. He has 24. The Bulls with their biggest lead of the game. A 7-point margin.
I think as an opposing coach, you never wanted to be real close to Chicago coming down the stretch because that guy takes over the game, Michael Jordan.
Dumars, yes, and it counts. Jordan calls for the hack, and Dumars to the foul line. Second foul committed by Jordan. Michael was so intent on racing down court for a fast break opportunity, got the hand up, made the contact.
Good observation, because Chicago has done that the entire game. They're running out on the shooters, challenge and then run. This almost was a three-pointer there. That would have been a 4-point play for the Pistons, but it's not.
Reminiscent of a foul given by Craig Hodges in a playoff game here in Chicago against Trent Tucker of the Knicks several years back, where Hodges committed a foul and a 4-point play collected by Tucker. The Bulls lead at 66-62, and the foul called on Dumars. He was looking for a charge, but does not get it.
He knows Michael Jordan wants the baseline move. That's his favorite area. He's trying to make him go middle, moves his feet, but Jake felt he was a little late getting there with his feet, trying to play good defense. That's still a heck of a job to keep Jordan in front of you that way.
A minute 1 left in the third. Michael Jordan last season averaged 33.5 per game, led the NBA in scoring for the 4th straight year, also led in steals for the 2nd straight season. Bulls lead 68-62, 26 for Jordan.
And Chicago shows a little three-quarter court pressure, trying to get the ball out of the main guy's hands, or the guy who's running the show for him, Joe Dumars, and as a result, they force another turnover, taking the Pistons out of what they like to do.
Crowd reacting to the steal by Pippen. 10 on the shot clock. Paxson open. King. Paxson. Yes.
That's not a good sign for Detroit. Chicago has the floor spread. They're moving the basketball, and because Jordan is hot, Detroit has to run and double him early.
Chicago by 8. That's time remaining in the third. Dumars works it down to 10. They double up. Aguirre. And the call against the Bulls with 7 seconds remaining in this third quarter. It's on Pippen. Only his first. Scottie Pippen, a superstar under construction. Year by year, he has improved in every offensive and defensive category.
When he came out of college, he was a surprise in the NBA draft. When people saw him in the Chicago pre-draft camp, they started to get an idea of just how talented he was. When he was drafted by Chicago, came in and really established himself as an outstanding player.
Craig Hodges, the man I mentioned a moment ago, just checked in. He has been a master of last-second flings at the end of quarters. And that's the intent of Phil Jackson as he inserts him with 7 seconds remaining.
Interesting that Vinnie Johnson mentioned to us last night that when the Bulls beat us, it seems like Craig Hodges comes on the floor and usually knocks out 2 or 3 of those three-pointers. Then we have problems. We'll see what happens.
Bulls by 6. See the seconds working down. Jordan gets to the circle and fires. Yes!
Michael Jordan He sees Lambier waiting for him, but he pulls up short of Lambier's double team and knocks out the three. Remember last season, he got off to a great start shooting three-pointers.
After 3 in Chicago, it's the Bulls by 9. Michael Jordan concluding matters in the third quarter in dramatic fashion. He's now 11 for 19. He has 29 points. He is able to drill it from three-point range at the buzzer.
Jordan actually pulls up before Lambier can step out and get to him on that last second shot. He knew Big Bill was back there waiting. He said, no, you're not getting to me this time. I'm dropping in the hole.
Michael Jordan now only 4 for 18 from downtown this season. He attempted 245 three-pointers a year ago.
He was shooting it so well in the beginning of the year, and they had spread their offense so well that they were telling him to take those three-pointers. He's cut back this season, no question.
Chicago turning it around off the boards in the third quarter, and Detroit shot very poorly. Foul called as Isiah was surrounded. Detroit only 5 for 17 shooting in the third quarter.
So many of those were outside perimeter jump shots, and they just weren't making them. They never established an inside game, and you see Isiah, who posted up down low inside, draw a triple team around the basketball.
Isiah Thomas coming off a 30-point game against Philadelphia Saturday. He's been bothered by a pulled muscle. His shooting has been down, as it was last year, although he came out exploding in the NBA Finals. They have been set back by that preseason injury, poked in the eye by Sedale Freed of Seattle. First he wore the goggles. They bothered him because of the glare, but doctors warned him if he struck in the eye, he could be blinded, so he kept the goggles on. Grant putting the move on Lambier.
They've got it all going for him right now. Jordan started it off. He drew the attention of Detroit's defense, and now they're starting to spread the wealth around throughout the team.
Biggest lead of the game, enjoyed by Detroit. They lead by 9. Opening minute, fourth quarter. Lambier shooting. Bill Lambier with his fourth field goal. He's 4 out of 5, 8 points. The Bulls 75, and the Pistons 68.
Detroit showed a little half-court trap, trying to get them out of their routine right now. Chicago's routine. They force a turnover by putting pressure on the Bulls.
Well, Michael Jordan sitting down, and it's the responsibility now of the Chicago bench. And they've been hurt here in the opening minutes. Hobson has come on along with Armstrong, replacing the regular Bulls backcourt. And Hobson was called for the foul. Well, tonight, enjoy the holiday with a special 2-hour Matlock murder mystery, followed by the critically acclaimed series, Law and Order. Happy holidays tonight here on NBC. James Edwards cutting it down to a 6-point lead. Jordan returns. Dennis Hobson continues his disappointing play. Came to Chicago on the eve of the 1990 draft from the Nets for a #1 pick. Turned out to be Tate George, plus a second-round pick in 91 and 92.
Well, it certainly wasn't like the front office wasn't trying to help this team. They had 2 players they picked up, Paxson and Levingston, to try and help them take the next step.
And the call made by the outside official, Jim Capers, on Aguirre. That is his third. First team foul picked up by Detroit. Stacey King to the free throw line, a 75% free throw shooter. Stacey King getting the starting assignment today, his first of the season. And he comes off what has to be labeled as a up-and-down rookie year. He averaged just under 9 per game, picked number 6 overall in the draft. In fact, Mike, he's been overweight, which did not thrill the coaching staff.
I'll be honest with you, I was very impressed by that young man in his rookie season. I thought he did a lot to establish himself down low as a low post scorer. He had a real good year for a rookie.
You like him?
I do like him. I think as a power forward with the ability to move over in the center position, give him minutes at both spots, he's going to be around for a lot of years scoring points for this team.
So what you're saying is you did not think it was a disappointing year?
No, I didn't.
All right. Okay. Here's Johnson from 3. Thomas. Isiah Thomas with 20. And the Bulls now lead at 77-72. We'll continue the Stacey King debate at a later date. Here's B.J. Armstrong. And that is his first field goal.
And what would you like to say about his rookie season?
I thought he was rather inconsistent. Now, what are you going to say here? You may like him, but he may not have had the type of season they were looking for.
We can't find a rookie right now around the league outside of 2 or 3 guys, Coleman, D. Brown from Boston, and perhaps Roy Vaught from the Clippers that are having good years this year.
Well, it's early. And last touch by Chicago. Enemy Detroit ball with 2.5 gone by in the 4th. It's the Bulls 79 and the Pistons 72. Well, with all the free time on the road, Chicago coach Phil Jackson felt that his players should put that time to good use. Phil, an avid reader, recommends books to his players. No, Mike, they don't have to hand in book reports, but he handpicks selections for particular players, and you're looking at a sampling. Great Santini for Will Perdue, Craig Hodges, Way of the Peaceful Warrior, Scott Williams, recommended reading Tar Baby, and Phil did have a suggestion for you, Mike. Pass this along to me, a children's book, The Little Prince. He thought you might really enjoy it.
That's the one book I have not read. The whole list I covered, just this one.
So here it is, The Little Prince. I know, Mike, you'll be taking a crack at it, but Phil does want a book report from you.
I will turn one in.
Bulls lead by 7. Oh, Edwards missing on that finger roll following the good move. Armstrong.
There's Cliff Levingston keeping it alive once again, giving another second shot opportunity.
Livingston up front now with Grant and Cartwright. Jordan and Armstrong in the backcourt. B.J. Armstrong now operating at the point guard position. Just under 9 minutes to go in the 4th. Jordan from deep. Oh, he threw an air ball. 24-second violation. Although the Bulls...
Phil Jackson is claiming that ball nipped the rim. That should have been reset to a new 24. I think Jake O'Donnell saw it touch the rim. He's trying to get it straightened out.
Tough to tell. It might have gotten the net. Let's see. Now, he hit the rim. Thought he got the net. However, it is Detroit ball. Lane Beer and Jordan on the rebound. Oh, nice pass, but the offensive foul called.
Very similar to the three-point shot to end the 3rd quarter. Grant kind of like a moving block coming down the floor. That defensive guard doesn't know whether to get on top of him or go underneath him. When Jordan's coming at you full speed, that's tough enough to play defense.
Levingston called for the foul. Isiah backing B.J. and then beautiful lead for Edwards. Detroit claiming it's in the act. Foul called on the Bulls.
One of the keys for defending a 2-man game, the pick and roll, is for B.J. to keep Isiah high enough. As soon as Edwards' man leaves the double team, he dives to the open spot, forcing the foul.
Foul committed by Jordan, and it is labeled in the act, so James Edwards to the foul line. He's 4 for 6 from the line. 9 points for Edwards. James Edwards finding new life. Last couple of years in Detroit. He's been around Lakers, Indiana, Cleveland, Phoenix. Detroit came to the Pistons 2 years ago for one more and a second-round draft pick in a steal.
There were 3 centers available that year. It was Edwards, Moses Malone, and Joe Barry Carroll. Pistons kept Edwards.
79-74, Chicago. Cartwright off the head fake, bottled up, and fouled by Edwards. That's number 4, committed by Edwards. Oh, they say Thomas on a reach-in. 3 on Isiah.
Detroit doesn't like to double team real hard. They like to come with the guards and reach in as the ball is put on the floor. Isiah missed the ball, but got a piece of the wrist.
And Bill Cartwright continues to have his troubles at the foul line.
Detroit's motto on the road: hang around, be close enough to make something happen at the end of the game. That's right where they are.
Well, the Pistons have won 5 straight in the regular season over Chicago. Over the last 3 regular seasons, Detroit has won 15 of 18 against the Bulls. And Mike, you go back to 81-82, they've won 40 of the last 54 in regular season competition.
I think they take them serious.
Yes. Dumars off the dribble and tripped and lost it.
Michael Jordan and the great hand. When we were playing Chicago and I was coaching Atlanta, we would take Michael Jordan, always try to send him to the opposite side of the floor because he's the best in the league at stripping you from the basketball.
Levingston, rebounded by Layup. Aguirre, and he was hacked.
Very fortunate. He lost the handle on that. Was trying to recover, just kind of flipped it up. 2 shots will come as a result, though.
That's 3 on Levingston.
He kind of loses the handle here, tries to recover it, knows he's got to get it up. Cliff felt he had a good block. Looked pretty close from here.
Mark Aguirre. Now 2 for 3 from the line. Scottie Pippen checking back in, replacing Cliff Levingston. It's been a solid game for Pippen. The Bulls 80, the Pistons 75. 7:15 left in the 4th quarter. Armstrong and Aguirre gets to it.
I think when he saw Bill Laimbeer start to rotate over, we call it the short arm. That thing pulled up about 4 feet short of the rim.
As Isiah Thomas came off the pick, Jake O'Donnell with the foul indication, a holding foul. Timeout has been taken. We'll be back in a moment. One of the great ones, Walter Payton, who is often here at courtside, rooting for his favorite NBA team, the Chicago Bulls. One-time Super Bowl MVP Richard Dent. The Chicago Bears will be in action this Saturday here on NBC, going up against the Kansas City Chiefs. It all gets underway. Bob Costas, Will McDonough, O.J. Simpson, NFL Live, starting at 12 noon Eastern Time. The Chiefs, incidentally, a perfect 3-0 against NFC opposition, and they aim for 4-0 against the Bears Saturday at Soldier Field. Mike Ditka giving his club a rare 2 days of rest. Short week. They come off the victory over Tampa Bay as they look to the playoffs. That'll be 12 noon Eastern Time, NFL football on NBC on Saturday. Isiah Thomas is now 2 for 3 from the line. The Bulls by 5 with 5 minutes gone by in the 4th.
Chuck Daly said the problem we've had is our guards are missing the big shots as the games come down to the wire. Free throws count as big shots.
Jordan from Pippen. 31 from Michael Jordan.
Nice play designed off the timeout. A back pick happening on one side of the floor while Pippen was playing pick and roll on the other side.
Bulls by 6. They double up on Thomas. 7 on the 24. Down to 4. Laimbeer from downtown. Rebounded by Grant.
Let me look at it here.
Shot clock is down to 5. Horace Grant does it from the outside. He has 8. The Bulls lead 84-76.
One of the things Detroit worked on in practice yesterday was the pressure they felt the Bulls were going to put on them. As soon as they score, Chicago goes into a sometimes real, sometimes fake full-court press.
Thomas. Pistons continue to have their shooting problems in the second half. Dumars, that's 2-point range. Cartwright saves it.
Detroit has gone totally to the perimeter in the last 2 or 3 minutes. They need to get some more dribble penetration out of the guards, make some things happen, taking the ball to the basket, get to the free throw line.
The Pistons shooting is down to 42%. Bulls at 51. Final seconds on the shot clock. Cartwright and Paxson recaptures. Deflected, says the outside official at Middleton, and Detroit will maintain possession. Last touch by the Bulls. Again, a deflection. And the Pistons with 16 on the shot clock.
Isiah Thomas likes to back cut on this out-of-bounds play and dive right into the basket for easy scores occasionally. If not, they usually bring him to the corner off a set of screens by the big people. Instead, the ball's going out of bounds on the side because of the deflection behind the backboard.
Thomas. Well, he's been off after the good start. Pippen lost the sneaker. Intriguing dribble move, and the 22nd timeout is taken quickly by Phil Jackson.
Oh, tough enough to play this game against Detroit, but to lose a sneaker, better take a timeout.
Well, this is our sneaker cam, checking it out closely.
He runs right out of his shoes.
4:32 remaining in the fourth quarter. And the Bulls with an 84-76 lead on the Pistons. Capacity crowd, 17,339, the 154th consecutive sellout here in Chicago. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the National Basketball Association and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form without the express written consent of the NBA. Foul before the shot attempt.
Detroit, personal foul, 40, Bill
Aguirre picks up his third.
Michael Jordan coming off that stagger screen once again. Dribble penetration, gets it right to the front of the rim, and the Pistons just aren't going to let him have easy layups. He's got to go to the free throw line and earn them.
And that is his first miss at the line after hitting 6. Jordan 12 for 21 from the field. The Bulls match their biggest lead, 85-76, and now show some pressure.
All they want to do is run that shot clock down so Detroit can't execute its half-court offense like it normally does.
Oh, what a play by Pippen. Jordan for Paxson. Chicago ball.
Sometimes it's just the bounce of the ball doesn't go your way. When things are going well, the whole team gets the crowd behind them. A great save by Pippen before the ball goes out of bounds, and then Jordan sees his open teammate streaking down the right side.
You can see Detroit has died in this fourth quarter. Meanwhile, the Bulls continue to thrive. 14 for Scottie Pippen. And Chuck Daly wants to talk it over.
Well, if the Chicago Bulls hold on and beat the Detroit Pistons, we are looking at a streak of 9 losses the last 12 games by the Pistons. Most of the problems have occurred on the road against quality teams, but still you know that Chuck Daly is not happy about this recent streak.
The problems for the Pistons have been that they're playing teams that are well above 500 on the road. Lakers, Utah, Milwaukee, Chicago, Boston. That record will get better as they move into the month of January. The teams they play are basically below 500 teams.
And the same occurred a year ago. They got off to a poor start and then came on. They were on fire. Substitution as William Bedford is inserted by Chuck Daly. Bedford has seen very limited action, drew the foul. Cartwright crawled on it. Now there's Bedford, who has had a career plagued by drugs and personal problems, returned to the Pistons last year after missing all of the previous season. He did have a good preseason, and Chuck has said he would like to use him from time to time. Wondering what the effect, if any, the Detroit Pistons suffered by the moves by Bill Laimbeer and Isiah Thomas, who opted to stay home in Detroit with their family for Christmas Eve. Well aware they could be fined, they arranged for a private plane and arrived here in Chicago early this morning. Chuck Daly not happy about it, did accept it. Some coaches might have gone berserk, but Chuck seemed to want to deflect it so as not to get into a major incident. I know Pat Riley has told us prior to the game on Showtime that he would have told Laimbeer and Thomas they could not play today. How would you have reacted?
Everyone handles it differently. The key is the maturity level of the other players on the team if they want to make a big issue of it.
Michael Jordan with 34. Are you saying you would have just fined him and that would have been the story?
I think the key is, as Jake O'Donnell sees the foul, the key is that you try to handle it beforehand. This was not something that was sprung on them at the last minute. Chuck Daly was informed of it. You handle it at that time, and you move on. It's a very long season. This is a special day. It's Christmas Day. I think you need to take all the factors in. That's why Chuck Daly is the grand master, because he handles those tough decisions as well as anyone.
Foul call on Jordan. So what you're saying is you pick your spots and lighten up at times, although Pat does not agree with that. He felt it's lack of respect for other teammates, and you can't let someone get away with it because it could lead to other things down the road.
I think Chuck realizes and understands how the rest of his team will perceive that particular move by Isiah and by Laimbeer, and because of that, that's how he handled it.
Terrific effort by Rodman, but his pass went astray.
Rodman comes from the foul line to keep that thing alive. He gives it all out all the time, Dennis Rodman.
3:12 remaining, fourth quarter. The Bulls 89, the Pistons 79. And O'Donnell blew the whistle. Delay of game warning against Detroit. Rodman was not giving Pippen enough room.
He crossed over that sideline, got too close to the passer, didn't give him enough room. Delay a game. The next one's a technical foul.
Now some pressure by Detroit. Oh, look out. Dumars and Grant started to get involved, and Grant threw a punch.
As we said earlier, Chicago has been stepping their big people up to knock those guards off of Jordan to set him free from the defensive pressure. Dumars took particularly, he was a little concerned about the fact that that screen was a little bit harder than the other ones. Turned and looked at him.
Horace Grant got involved with Joe Dumars. Here's another look at it.
First, a little exchange of an elbow from Dumars to Grant. Then Grant turns around and actually throws the punch into his ribcage.
Detroit personal foul, Joe Dumars.
Here's the announcement.
The team scored.
Dumars hit with a personal.
Horace Grant, flagrant foul, ejection.
And Horace Grant has been ejected on the flagrant foul for throwing the punch.
That's an excellent job by this officiating crew to see the whole play. Sometimes you see the first part of it, you catch the first blow, miss the second, or you miss the first part of it and catch the second. Watch the elbow first. There's the punch. Second, they caught both parts of it. Correct call. Foul on Dumars, ejection of Grant.
Horace Grant delivering the short right hand, and you saw Dumars get into the boxer pose, ready to go. A little mismatch in terms of physique. Horace Grant, 6'10", 220. Joe Dumars, 6'3", 190. Well, from the Chicago Bull point of view, look out. Horace and Isiah Thomas showing the Christmas spirit. Isiah trying to make light of it, and actually in doing so does settle the moment down.
I think the one thing that both these teams understand is because of the great energy level that they both have when they play each other and the competitiveness, the last thing they need is for the game to turn into an ugly affair. Nice move by the players right there.
You don't like to see fisticuffs, but you know from the coaching point of view that Phil Jackson will consider this a positive move, because the Bulls have not been able to stand up to the physical play of the Detroit Pistons. And even though it's a mismatch and it's in the heat of the battle, Horace Grant did not back away.
You have to hold your ground. You can't be a punching bag for the other team. When you lose 15 out of 18, you've got to, at some point, say, hey, listen, we've had enough of this. We will retaliate if it's physical basketball that you want to play.
The officials sorting it out. Jake O'Donnell in the discussion with Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen. The personal foul called on Dumars, and the flagrant foul, the technical foul, and ejection is called on Grant. Down to 3:05 remaining in the fourth quarter, and the Bulls have a 10-point lead.
Jake O'Donnell is trying to decide how many free throws each one of the players is going to shoot right now. That's what they're trying to get straightened out. And the other thing is, Chuck Daly gets to select which player from the Chicago bench he would like to have shoot the free throw for Chicago. This was not an injury ejection or a player rather being taken out of the game because of an injury. Because of the technical foul, the flagrant foul, Chuck Daly gets to select the player that will shoot for the other team.
Well, Bill Cartwright, who has been struggling at the line, 2 for 4 today, will go to the line, and he'll shoot the 2.
Giving a little private instruction lesson over here to Coach Jackson. Phil doesn't necessarily agree. I think Jake's going to win this argument.
So the Bulls take an 11-point lead. Bill Cartwright has given the Bulls their biggest lead of the game. Phil Jackson was telling us yesterday that the NBA is going through a phase allowing much physical play. Here's Dumars now to shoot his free throw. Phil Jackson unhappy about the extra physical play, particularly on the part of Detroit, and we asked him about it.
The fact that they all play the physical game from 1 through 8, and so they all generate that same kind of energy on defense, makes it consistent and difficult for referees to call the holds, because if they start one place calling holding or blocking or whatever, then they have to go all the way through the lineup and call all the fouls. And it's very difficult for the NBA referees to really referee a game well against the Pistons.
Yes, it is. Reminds me of the days of the Philadelphia Flyers in the National Hockey League, where they were so rough and tough. There would be many calls made against them, but in the long run, perhaps they got away with some of the flagrant fouls and penalties, because you reach a point, you can't call everything.
You have 6 fouls to use up at each position. Detroit takes advantage of it.
Isiah Thomas, after hitting a moment ago to cut it down to 9, but Cartwright on the rebound. 2:20 remaining in the fourth quarter. The Bulls 91 and the Pistons 82.
Isiah takes the foul intentionally just to force the timeout so that Chuck Daly can substitute for him. Let's hope that's not the same eye that was injured early in the year. As he goes in, Jordan flies by. We'll take a look at where that hits. It looks to me like it's more at the top of the head area than in the eye.
Pistons trainer Mike Abdenauer checking out Isiah Thomas. Got clipped by Jordan. Both clubs are now over the foul limit. And Isiah back at the Detroit bench as John Paxson goes to the line for the first time. So things here in the fourth quarter hitting on the testy side with Horace Grant involved with Joe Dumars. Grant ejected. This was strictly accidental as Thomas took the shot on the forehead. Detroit calls for time with 2:12 remaining in the fourth. Well, that is trainer Mike Abdenauer checking out Isiah Thomas. And Isiah, as we mentioned earlier, took a poke in the eye during preseason for a while. He wore the goggles. And we thought it was on the forehead, but it's closer to the eye area.
Well, Michael Jordan's fingers and hands are so large, so long, it's tough to tell if any part of it actually gets into that tear duct area. That's what had been injured on Isiah earlier in the season.
Isiah remaining on the bench. 2:12 left. Fourth quarter. The Bulls 93 and the Pistons 82. The Bulls looking to pay back the Pistons for the walloping they suffered last week. Bedford from outside.
That's why Chuck Daly said he's rather intriguing, because he's a terrific offensive player, can score points quickly.
William Bedford, originally a first-round draft pick of the Phoenix Suns. 9-point lead for the Bulls. Just under 2 minutes remaining. Fourth quarter. Levingston is back up front with Pippen and Cartwright. Paxson and Jordan in the backcourt. Jordan lost it. Recovers. And hits with the shot clock down to 2.
He just basically had to get it up there and hope that it hit the rim. Instead, it hits nothing but net.
36 for Jordan. The Bulls by 11. Dumars hacked down the play. So Joe Dumars will go to the line. Fouled by Jordan. That's 5 on Jordan. Let's go to Steve Jones.
All right, Marv, I got a report on Isiah Thomas that same eye he had the tear duct operation on. It's an ongoing problem that he'll have probably for the next 6 months or so anytime he gets a hit in that area, and that's what he's reacting to right now. He seems to be visually focusing and all right now. He's been over here for about the last 2.5 minutes trying to get that vision right.
All right, Steve, the Bulls now lead the Pistons 95-86 with a minute and 20 remaining, fourth quarter.
In a similar situation the other night against Philadelphia, the Pistons cut it back to 5 and elected to foul Philadelphia every time down, put them on the free throw line. Problem is, Philly made the shots.
Salley called for that foul, and it sends Jordan to the free throw line.
With the shot clock running down, 3 right here, Jordan just basically saves it from going out of bounds, falls away, and hits the 2-pointer.
Jordan 7 for 8 from the line. A minute 9 remaining in this fourth quarter. Michael Jordan with a well-balanced performance. 12 points in the third quarter, 36 in all. Mr. Stats, our crack statistician, Elliot Cow. Timeout has been called. It's Chicago by 10. We'll be right back. Merry Christmas and happy holiday from all of us at NBC Sports. Isiah may not be in the Christmas spirit after taking that poke, and his club trailing the Chicago Bulls 96-86, the timeout rundown. Chicago with 3 left. Detroit with 1 remaining. The Chicago Bulls looking to put an end to the Detroit winning streak against them during the course of the regular season. They've won the last 5. Over the last 3 regular seasons, Detroit has taken 15 of 18 against Chicago.
Well, perhaps that home court from the playoffs last season carries over once again now, and Chicago at least feels we can beat this team in our building. Now, if we go on and win this Central Division, we'll have home court advantage come playoff time.
Well, the Bulls did win all 3 home games against Detroit during that Eastern Conference final last season. Tomorrow night, the Pistons home for Charlotte, while the Chicago Bulls back home for Golden State on Thursday. Salley. Pistons have been popping consistently from outside and have not been hitting. Michael Jordan taking his time, running the clock down with a 10-point lead. And we're down to 50 seconds remaining. Dennis Hobson is back on the court. They go 3-guard offense. Jordan, Paxson, and Hobson. Jordan lost it. Dumars. Looking for Bedford. Broken up. The steal by Paxson.
That's been the story here. Turnovers in the second half. Perimeter game by the Pistons. Just not nearly the same team shooting from the outside this half as the first half.
They are standing and cheering for the home club here in Chicago. Well, Phil Jackson put the pressure on this game. Made it a must-win situation. Cliff Levingston has given his club a 12-point lead, and the Bulls have come through for Phil Jackson.
Sometimes there's a concern that you throw too great a challenge at the team, but these athletes seem to rise to the occasion.
That is it. The Chicago Bulls defeat the Detroit Pistons 98-86, led by Michael Jordan, who had 37. 24 for Joe Dumars, 23 for Isiah Thomas. And our Miller Genuine Draft Player of the game, Michael Jordan, who had 14 for 23 from the field and was game high with 37 points. Thanks to our producer, Tommy Roy, our director, Andy Rosenberg, Victor Frank producing NBA Showtime, Marv Albert, Mike Fratello, Steve Jones, Pat Riley, and Bob Costas saying so long for Chicago. Thanks for tuning in to the NBA on NBC.